Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Charlene and today we are going to make a healthy oatmeal breakfast cookie that has protein powder in it. I've been promising my one of my sons who does a lot of weightlifting and stuff that I was going to start making him some high protein foods, and I've been promising him for a month, so I think I better get on that. So today I thought that I would make this one for him. So we're going to start with putting all the dry ingredients in one bowl and the wets in the other, and then we're just going to combine them. So we're going to do one full banana. And I always, whenever I'm using bananas for recipes, I always like them to be a little older. Now they don't look very attractive. I'll just show you a close-up. This one's been in my fridge for probably 2 weeks. No mold or nothing awful on it. They just darken a little bit. And that's perfect for when you're using this for making banana bread or whatever. So this is the first time I'm making this exact recipe, and I am going to tweak it to what ingredients that I actually have and foods that we actually like and enjoy. Little sip of coffee. Next is I said I was going to put dry ingredients in here. I'm backwards. Okay, so we are going to start with 1 cup of old-fashioned oats. So I'm just going to use the quick oats, and it is 1 cup. Didn't get my 1 cup out. So I'm just using no name oats. Then we're going to put in a 1/4 cup of flour. I'm just going to I have a little bit of gluten-free flour left here, so I'm just going to use that. It's the 1-to-1 baking flour from Bob's Red Mill, but just use any all-purpose flour for a little bit more. Oh, excuse me for just a moment. I just made some homemade oatmeal. So just taking that out of the oven. I do have a video where I made the homemade granola for you if you're interested. Okay, I am going to put in some sprouted chia seeds I got from my health store. Okay, and then next is a 1/4 cup of vanilla protein powder. So this is, I went to my health store and I just grabbed any protein powder. I really don't know too much about it. And then he was asking me questions about, who's using it and stuff. So I told him that my son that works out, and he said, oh, that this one here was better for him. I looked at the calorie count and stuff like that, and I think that's higher than for 2 scoops, which we're not even using a full scoop like this size. It says it's 120. Oh, that is high. 120 carbs and 720 calories. So this one I will be keeping separate for them because I do not want to ingest that kind of calories. So I will be watching out for that. I had no idea about that either until I looked at this. Okay, we are going to do cinnamon. We're going to do roughly 2 teaspoons. I always add extra, so I'm not going to really measure because I like lots. And it calls for half a teaspoon of baking soda. Where did I put the baking soda? There it is. And I misplaced my half a teaspoon, so I'm using just a half of a full teaspoon. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to double check I got everything. Oats, flour. Okay, now we're just going to do a little mix. And then we'll move on to the dry ingredients, or the wet ingredients, sorry. Okay. Let me just move this stuff we've already used out of the way so we don't have too much of a mess. Okay. Now we're going to use half a cup of peanut butter. I'm going to grab my spatula. And now half a cup of honey or maple syrup, and I am going to use real maple syrup. It's just slightly under a half a cup here, but I don't feel like opening another one, so that will do. Okay. And vanilla, roughly 2 teaspoons. And vanilla and cinnamon are 2 things that I tend to not measure because I love the taste of them, and I don't think you can really put too much in there. Just my opinion. Okay, then we're going to add the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. Mix. Now you can add whatever you want to this after, like if you wanted to add some nuts or you wanted to add raisins. I'm going to add a little bit of chocolate chips. I'm not going to add a whole lot just because it's supposed to be a little on the healthier side, but it always makes it easier for the kids to enjoy if there's a little chocolate in it. So I'm going to say that was maybe a 1/4 cup of chocolate chips. Okay, and I have my oven at 350. Actually did forget to spray these. Just going to see if there's a specific size. Oh, that's a big. I think I'll just use a tablespoon. And it sounds like these spread. So they're saying to leave 3 inches apart. So I'm guessing they're those ones that are kind of flattened. They spread. Okay, so I'm gonna wash my hands. And then I'm just gonna use my fingers to. This is very wet and sticky. Okay. I'm not sure if I can fit one more over there. Maybe I'll move this there. Not quite sure what to expect of these. I'm sure they're going to taste good. I'm just not sure what the looks of these are going to. Don't want them to run off the pan. Okay, and then it says to use a clean fork, dip it into water, and just squish them down a little bit, but they should be roughly 1/2 inch thick. And this way I can shape them a little better too. There we go. And then we are putting them in the oven at 350 for anywhere from 14 to 16 minutes. There. Okay. Okay, so the first batch of the cookies are out. They did not spread, so I don't know why the leave 3 inches. They look really good, nice and puffy. So when those cool down, I'll let you know how they taste. Okay. And then I want to just show you. So this is my granola that has cooled. In case you have not seen my other video, like I've got some almonds and lots of cinnamon and vanilla. It tastes so good. Anyways, so I'm going to put this away. I've missed this so much. It's been about a month that I haven't had any. And this, most days is my breakfast. I'll put this in like 1/2 cup of yogurt. Whoops. Oh, I didn't spill it. Anyway, so it's so good. I used to always buy the cereal. I just loved it. But then once I started making this, there's no comparison. Goodness, that's stuck. But I guess that's with most things. Homemade's usually better. Just more work is all. So now this will be my breakfast, and I will look forward to that. Okay, now that I have the cookies and everything taken care of, we're going to move on to making dinner tonight. So this is going to be a new recipe for dinner tonight as well. I was just kind of going through the freezer and things that we haven't used for a little while. So I went and looked up some pork chop recipes. Actually, I have all these binders that I have had for so long, these recipes, and I've never tried like probably even a quarter of the recipes. So now will be a great time to try them. So what does this have? 3, 6, 9 pork chops here. They're boneless. That's my favorite, is boneless, but my husband loves the bone in. But he does not get that tonight. Okay, so pork chops can move over there, not in the way. Okay, and then, oh, I forgot a little bowl. So for the marinade, we are going to do 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Make sure there's no lumps. It's going to be 2 tablespoons of olive oil. It's 2 tablespoons of orange juice. I didn't actually have orange juice, but I had those little mandarins left over from Christmas, so I just squeezed them. Squeezed 1, and it worked out to be just almost exactly 2 tablespoons, maybe slightly under. Okay, I don't like that ingredient, so I'm not going to put it in. It calls for red wine vinegar. I do not have that, so I am going to do 1 tablespoon of regular white vinegar. I do love red wine vinegar. I have to get some, but until I do, this is what I'm going to do. And then this is some red wine vinegar. I don't drink wine myself, but I always marinate our meats with it. Okay. It calls for hot chili powder. I do have hot chili powder somewhere. I have no idea. So I'm just going to use our regular chili powder. Teaspoon. Here we go. So 2 teaspoons. Actually, I'm going to do a heaping teaspoon on that one because I love the flavor of this. And because it was supposed to be hot, I'm going to put, I had dehydrated jalapenos. So I'm going to put a little bit in, not a lot. But if you don't like spice, just omit whatever I put in that's spicy. But my family loves spice, so. A teaspoon of cumin. I like this flavor. I'm going to put a little bit more than a teaspoon in, just kind of going with what my family likes. And oregano, there we go. This will be a teaspoon of oregano. And salt. I'm going to put about a teaspoon in. And cayenne pepper. Cayenne pepper. This calls for 1/4 of a teaspoon. Oops, wrong side. So that's about that much there. And 3 cloves of garlic, and I already buy them pre-minced. So, and we love the flavor of garlic. So I'm going to do, for that much, I'm probably going to do 2 heaping tablespoons. Okay. I think I got everything. I'm just going to double check. I omitted a few things that we really don't like, but I like the basic ingredients. So I'm a big fan of just going with what our family likes. I've tried a lot of new recipes and didn't like I know I don't like adding cinnamon to that was one ingredient in here was cinnamon. I know I've tried stuff like that before, and the cinnamon kind of to me throws it off. But hey, at least I know that now from trying. So I'm going to test this just a little, just to see if I think that it needs a little something else. Actually, it's really good just like that. It has a little bit of spice, but like it really hits you at first, but it's not where you're going to choke or anything. Actually, that's really good like that. I like it. I love that when you find a new recipe and it works out exactly the way that your family likes it. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of try to make sure that all of the pieces have this on, and I will let it marinate for the rest of the day. And then I'll probably flip it and everything like that to make sure all the sides get some marinade. Maybe I should have put this in a bag instead of on a, maybe that's what I should do too. I just don't like wasting bags all the time, but I think, well, I guess I'll be using my hands again. And spilt it all over this. But that's a good reason. I put all my recipes in these plastic coatings. You can get them from like the dollar store. And that's a good reason why. Okay, I'll push that so it doesn't fall. Okay, so I'm going to mix this really good, and I'm going to put it in the fridge until it's time to cook them. That looks nice. Like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go clean up all of this mess, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to make a soup. Okay, So we are going to make broccoli soup. It's called a no cream broccoli soup. So we are going to put carrots, onions, calls for celery. I don't have celery. I don't really love celery anyways, so I'm not really concerned about that. What I'll do is I'll just put in a few extra carrots. So we're supposed to fry them with a little oil in the saucepan. So I'll just put that over here and just put a little oil there. And we will chop these up. So we'll do maybe about 1 3/4 cup of carrots. Okay, there's 1 1/2. Here's 1 3/4. Perfect. Okay, so that goes in here. And then we're going to cut up, but we'll just do 2, maybe 3 onions. These are all going to get blended, so it doesn't have to be tiny pieces. And just checking here. Okay, so we're going to put it on medium-high heat for 3 minutes. Okay, do I need to do... Okay, so while that's doing that, we'll do broccoli. So it's about two small bunches of broccoli that we're going to need. So I'm going to get a bowl to put those in. Sorry, I already pre-washed these. I'm just going to cut that little part off. And I'm going to also use the stems of them as well. I made a dish the other day with broccoli, and I kept all the stems, knowing that I was going to make this soup that's going to get blended down anyways. So if I see any spots that don't look good, I'll cut them off, and then I'll use the rest. And that was all washed up as well. I had read that the stems of these have tons of nutrition in them, and I've always cut the stems off my whole life. So now, if I can, I will reuse what I can. But the recipe I was making the other day needed to just be the florets. I think that's what they're called. So I just thought I'd mention about the cookies, the protein cookies. They were not bad, but they had this very powdery taste to them. So I definitely think that it was the protein powder itself. But if I had added more chocolate chips, I think that would have kind of covered that taste. Because every bite that I had that had a chocolate chip in it, I didn't notice that powdery taste. So I would definitely say I would probably add a half a cup or 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips if I try this recipe again. But my son, who I specifically made this for, who works out, he did not enjoy it at all. So I am probably gonna keep looking for another recipe. But if you do decide to try that, I would definitely say add in more chocolate chips or whatever you want to put in there, just to kind of mask that taste a little bit. Okay, so now we are going to add chicken broth and 2 cups of water. So let's see, how much is this? It says 2 cans of chicken broth, the 284 milliliters. And I have one of these, which is 900. So I think I'm still going to I'll just use a whole one of these. It's a little more than it calls for, but maybe I'll just cut back a little on the water. Maybe I'll just cut back one cup of water instead of 2. And then this whole thing here. Okay, so we're going to bring this to a boil. Okay, so then I will come back when it is at a boil. Okay, it is at a boil now. So now we add half a cup of minute rice. And we add in all of our broccoli. Mix that around, and then you're gonna turn it down and let it simmer for 10 to 15 minutes. We will put the lid on that. Turn that down a bit. Okay, it is done. I probably let it go for 20 to 25 minutes. I didn't think 15 to 20 was quite enough. So now we are going to put it in the blender. Okay, so I'm going to do it in batches in the blender to blend it, and then I'm going to put it in a different pot, this one over here. I'm only going to fill it a little over half because I'm not sure what's going to happen there. Okay. So now we add milk, 2 cups of milk and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese, and then boil it again. This is how it looks. Oops. Here. That's better. That's how it looks before I put in the milk. Okay, so it's a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Oh, we don't need that hunk. There we go. And 2 cups of milk. Parmesan is a little chunky, so I'm just trying to break that up. Oopsies. Okay, so it still needs to be warmed through, but I'm gonna, whoa, I'm splashing all over the place. I'm gonna give it a taste test. Actually, it's kind of good. The Parmesan just hits you. I'm just trying to think if it needs something else, or do I just leave it like that? I'm not sure. I might just leave it and let everybody add in their own like salt, pepper, because we all have different like taste buds on the amount of that. So I think I'm just going to leave that, and I'm going to stop stirring because I am just making a big mess. Okay, so it is still just not even 1 o'clock, so I'm going to warm this up in a couple hours just before we eat. And yeah, I will let you guys know what everybody thinks. It was a hit. Everybody really enjoyed these pork chops. So this is definitely a winner, and we will make again sometime. Okay, here is our final soup. And here is the pork chops done. Okay, so first I'm going to test the soup. I did end up putting a little bit of cayenne pepper in it, just like a little dash, and just the tiniest bit of salt. Yeah, I think that it just needed like just the tiniest bit of something, but it's really good. And then I sprinkled some cheese on. That actually adds a little bit too. Nice, healthy. And I'll give this pork chop a try. I don't like fat, so I have to make sure I'm not going to get a mouthful of fat. That's a really good flavor. I really like that. And what did I do? So I cooked it in the Ninja at 325. I did 15 minutes, and then I flipped everything, and then I moved whatever was on the bottom shelf to the top shelf, or rack, sorry, not shelf. And then I cooked it for another 15 minutes, and I think that was just perfect. I actually cooked a couple to start with because my middle son has to start work pretty early. So I forgot to turn the temperature down, and I cooked it at 390 for the same amount of time. So it was a little burnt, but now I know not to make that mistake again. But anyways, yeah, this is really good. I will definitely try this recipe again. Okay, hope you guys enjoyed it. Oh, and I also made a side of rice to go along with this. So I hope you guys like this. If you try, let me know. And we will see you on the next video. Take care.